The Las Plagas is the virus that infected Spain's inhabitants during the 2005 outbreak. Once infecting its host, the plaga resembles an almost spider-like creature and remains in its host until they die. Jack Krauser, Leon's former partner that was assumed to have died during a crash incident but lived, only to turn on Leon and later reveal that he too was infected with the plaga and mutated into a grotesque version of his former self. He died by the hands of Leon shortly after. Regenerator, a result of the plaga taking over its host in an experiment. These creatures are practically invincible to gunshots unless the plaga parasites inside its body are shot, resulting in it exploding. Verdugo. One of Ramon Salazar's henchmen, Verdugo is an extremely lethal result of the plaga taking over its host, resulting in extreme speed, giant sharp claws, a swift tail blade, and countless sharp appendages all over. This bioweapon is very persistent with its prey, only stopping when they are dead. Ramon Salazar, seemingly the right hand to Osmond Sadler, this man's only role was to antagonize Leon Kennedy and plan out things for Sadler. He later was absorbed by the Queen Plaga, which mutated him into a nasty, slimy monster inside the bud of the Plaga. Osmond Sadler, the head of the Plaga outbreak, Osmond Sadler served as the lord to all controlled by the parasite, and could effortlessly subdue and mind control others infected with a simple raise of his hand. Sadler later transformed into a giant spider-like creature, but was taken down by Leon shortly after. Ganados. Ganados are referred to as any civilian and or person infected by the parasite. These once civil people were then made into violent, bloodlusting creatures that pursued anyone that wasn't infected. Villagers, castle roamers, and the military outpost soldiers were all subjects of the infection. Chainsaw Man. Dr. Salvador, aka Chainsaw Man, is one of the most persistent enemies in the game, as he is encountered 3 times, twice in the village and once in the mining facility. Dr. Salvador, unlike any other infected person, has normal appearance regarding facial features, as noted by his facial texture file in the game. He doesn't have any blood-pouring orifices, red eyes, or bruises, as other villagers can have on their face. Del Lago. Del Lago is a fairly easy boss encountered early on when a lake is entered via boat, just towards the end of the village segment. This creature is assumed to be a failed experiment or drastic mutation from the Las Plaga, most likely being a nematode or fish before it became a monster. El Gigante. Quite literally meaning a giant, or the giant in Spanish, this gargantuan creature is encountered in many variants throughout the game. It can be pretty difficult to take down, but is done so by destroying the parasite that erupts from its back when it is wounded enough. Bators Mendez. The assumed leader of the Ganados, this man is resilient to bullets and is reinforced by his violent demeanor. Leon encounters him 3 times, once in the village, the second time in a house, and the final time in a barn. Leon kills Bators after he violently transforms into a spiny, tall monster. U3. It is obvious that U3 is an experiment given its name, most likely conducted by Umbrella. This creature features a giant scorpion-like pincer, a razor-sharp mouth, and a bug-like body, and is one of the first bioweapons engineered by Umbrella introduced in the game. Iron Maiden. The tougher version of the Regenerator, this creature is lined with spikes all over its body and twitches as it moves. It should be noted that this creature is extremely deadly and can protrude its spikes about 3 feet in all directions. Queen Plaga, a creature that lined a part of the room's interior, growing grossly along its walls. It is unknown how this creature was created, but willingly accepted Salazar into its body and thus allowed him to take control over the Queen Plaga. Novistador. Creatures that you encounter during the castle phase of the game, these beings can turn completely invisible and are a huge threat when they do. Their loud footsteps when chasing their prey gives away their position, however, and they can easily be taken down with a few gunshots. Giant Chainsaw Man. This enemy is exclusive to the Mercenaries minigame of Resident Evil 4, and was never concluded if this character was canon based on his absence to the story mode. This enemy carries a 2-bladed twitching chainsaw, and the man himself towers at about 6 feet 5 inches. This enemy will constantly swing its chainsaw, even while pursuing its prey, and instant death occurs once he reaches you.
Garrador. The Garrador are experimental super soldiers infected by the Los Plagos of Spain. They have claws on both hands, head armor, and outbursts that temporarily increase their strength and speed. They are some of the more challenging enemies in the game and appear at the midway point, up until the end. Plaga C. These creatures resemble spiders and crabs. They have pointed feet for lodging into their enemies and spiked teeth for ripping off flesh. They aren't extremely difficult to kill, but can be difficult to avoid. Comylos. Wolves that are infected turn into Comylos. The Los Plagos infection erupts out of their back in a terrifying horror film-looking fashion. They appear near the beginning of the game, but most prominently in Salazar's garden during the middle part of the game. Chainsaw Sisters. If you thought women were crazy, you'll think they're insane after encountering these sisters. They swing their chainsaws faster than their male chainsaw counterparts, making them much more deadly. Cultists. The cultists are a variety of members from the Los Eliminados, an in-game religion. They have unusually pale skin and constantly chant hymns and prayers. They use a variety of weapons, such as crossbows and scythes. Gatling Man. With some of the highest hit points in the game, Gatling Man comes equipped with a Gatling gun and are part of the Special Ops Ganado army. Beware, these enemies may make you rage quit. They certainly made me. Villagers. The villagers are the most common Ganados encountered in Resident Evil 4. They are only a threat in numbers and can easily be taken out if there are 3 or less. Oven Man. The Oven Man is a Ganado only in some versions of Resident Evil 4. He appears in the 5th chapter when Leon enters a Ganado's kitchen and jumps out of a burning oven to attack. And boy, does he get burnt. Seekers. Seekers are used by Jack Krauser during his fight with Leon on the Ruins Island. They are metal drones that can track and attack Leon with the machine guns built into them. They can be defeated by shooting one bullet at them. Snakes. Snakes are seen in crates in the swamps of Resident Evil 4. They are more of a jump scare enemy and sometimes drop eggs. Cattle. Your average cow and bulls. They deal damage in the Japanese version of Resident Evil 4 if Leon stands in front of their face and inflicts damage to them. Soldier with a hammer. The virus never leaves these soldiers' bodies. They are literally soldiers with really big, really spiky hammers.